Hey guys, so um, figuring out if everything's angled properly here. The way I just have this camera, it doesn't properly stay sometimes. So I just got back home. I want my RAM to show. Okay, or it's not gonna work. Whatever, that's fine. You can just visualize my head as the RAM with the horns. Just so you know, I just got back home. And it's really cold. It's so windy. So I'm still kind of getting back into the warmth in the environment. And I think I have a message I'd like to get out just before 2015 is over, because we've had a very strong influence of Saturn. Although, we live on planet Earth and the planets always have an influence with us. Saturn particular, the 8 number particular, especially if you have 8 in your chart, in numerology, or if you have Saturn in your chart. And with me in particular, I have Saturn in Sagittarius and other places, okay? And again, I'm going to show my python, and it's shaped as a number 8 python skin. Just because, I want to be able to show and honor and say goodbye. Even though 8 will always be with me for the rest of my life, the infinity and beyond. The infinity and Saturn will always be a part of me. But I think it's just, I have a lot to say, and I feel as though this is a message to get out, just in particular about Saturn, okay? I feel like, let's just say what Saturn is, okay? Saturn's energy is all about authority, the law, the father of time. He can take things from you. He can give things to you. A tyrannical parent. And if you go to the ancient days, not to startle anybody, but Kronos and the Titan and so many names. I can get into all of them, but I'm not going to because it'll take too long. He would devour his own child, and taking the child's energy for its own self, to absorb its energy and to really take it all in. And I think with Saturn is a lot of times Saturn pushes you, Saturn forces you into situations, into places, and I feel it's because Saturn is here to teach you lessons about yourself, to make you feel, to teach you who you are, to teach you to put your foot down, to teach you how to put your foot down, to say no, the ability to say no, the ability how to put your foot down, stay grounded, say no, and in integrity. Okay, integrity is key. For people, this is not talked about very often, okay? Whether it's organizations, established organizations that involve religions like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, pagan faiths, pagan gods, numerology, astrology, Hinduism, Buddhism. Saturn is a big influence on all of these religions, faiths, and paths of life. A lot of religions associate God, and actuality, that God is Saturn, okay? Saturn is the law, Saturn is the government, Saturn is the banks, and most of us free-oriented people have always had issues that involved Saturn having an authority over us, okay? And so attacking hasn't worked, and so being nice sometimes hasn't worked. So it's like Saturn has pushed and pushed and forced, and put us through all this sensical and nonsensical situations through people and family, and because family is a very big neglect for those who have gone through the 8th Saturn energy. It's as if when we get to integrity, when we get really honest, when we can admit to ourselves and say, hold on a second, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And it doesn't matter how much I'm being forced into it, pushed into it, or whatever. I ain't doing this. And so all of a sudden, we're left in this situation. And depending on the situation, Saturn may be like, well, this is the law. But when you are in integrity, when you can get honest and admit what isn't serving you, who you are not when you thought you are, or pressure that's not. A lot of times we go through this pressure because we're at the wrong place at the wrong time. We're with the wrong people that are not serving us or our path. We are giving into things that we should not be giving into. Or vice versa, we're rebelling towards the law. For example, Saturn is kind of considered to be the judge, the tyrannical authority, and a banker. For example, if we consider them to be, Saturn to be a banker, I'll give you an example. I'm going to bring my Terra Mundi from yesterday. So, I have my Terra Mundi here. So let's just say this is a bank. So Saturn has placed, for example, I open up a bank account. Saturn has placed me some rules, okay? He has given me some rules, and he's told me, you must put in a certain amount of money in this jar, in this bank, either every day, bi-weekly, weekly, monthly, okay? And you are, okay? You're following the rules and you're putting it in. One day you forget, so you get charged for that, okay? Or one day you end up being stressed out because you're going through something at work, or you're going through some sort of relationship issue. So all of a sudden, you start taking out all this money, and then all of a sudden you're getting these transaction fees that are beyond. So what does Saturn do? Saturn either gives you an extra fee for doing that, you know, or says to you, well, what are you doing? Obviously, he's going to charge you, right? Because you're going against what's already laid out. You've already signed it. You've already agreed to it. It's a law, right? The law has been placed, but to open up a bank account, you're agreeing. You're giving your signature, and you're agreeing that you're going to continue with these laws. You're going to abide by these laws. So all of a sudden, this is what's happening. And you can go in there and you can say to Saturn, you can say to your banker, well, you know what? I was stressed out. My family's been treating me like crap. Everybody at work has been treating me like I can't take it anymore. So I ended up shopping. You know, I can't pay for this. I'm not paying for this. Who are you? You pay for this. What is Saturn going to do? Is Saturn going to feel sorry for you? No, Saturn will not feel sorry for you. But if you get into integrity, first of all, with yourself, first, and you really realize it's not really Saturn's fault, is it? It's not really your fault either. It's not really the people at work's fault either. Everybody's just doing what they think is right. And yeah, sure, we all mess up here and there. But we're living our lives. So although we can't control Saturn and we cannot control other people's actions towards us, what we can do is stay in integrity and say, wait a minute. Because I'm letting other people's actions or energies or feelings affect me. I'm putting myself in situations that I don't need to be in, such shopping, getting charged like crazy by the bank. Now I'm having this disagreement with the bank. You know what I mean? So you get into this integrity. And when you get into this integrity, Saturn may be able to change something here for you. Okay? And now this is metaphorically speaking, because not always the case where the bankers will be like, okay, you know what, I'll reduce it or I'll change it for you or whatever. But when you get into that integrity and you go and you tell them this and you say, you know what, depending on your bank, depending on the situation, because I don't want to say do this. If you're in the situation, then all of a sudden you get a call back and you're like, whoa, the bank said that didn't work. Or because I myself have been in a situation like this and I stayed in my integrity and they actually changed up things for me. Like the bank, for example, in the past. And they said, okay, we're going to pull it out for this month, but just make sure you look at your transactions, and next month, if you do it again, then we're going to charge you. This is an example, okay? So I'm not saying this is for every time, but I'm just giving you an example. And so I know things keep getting harder and harder, like the law, you know, it's getting harder and harder and harder. But again, and it's changing. The laws are changing in some areas, you know, there are prisons or this or that, and women's and this and that. But when you stay in that integrity, I don't literally mean the law right now, okay? I'm talking metaphorically speaking, the energies of Saturn. If you have Saturn influence, the number 8 influence in your charts, in your life, again, that storyline was metaphorically speaking, for you to get what I mean. When you stay in integrity, all of a sudden Saturn will be like, back, and will gift you and will say, well done. Now you have morals, you have ethics, you know who you are, you know how to handle yourself, because you're honest with yourself first and foremost. And now you are able to be honest with another, whether it's for business, whether it's for friendships, whether it's for working in the law, whatever it is, okay? Whether it's past abuse, whether it's sexual trauma, whether it's relationship trauma, anything of that nature, okay? It's a very much repeated with the infinity sign, because this is something that will never end, okay? The infinity will never end. It's something that you have to be able to look at and not necessarily question the limits of everything, but really look at it, and instead of fighting it, instead of attacking it, kind of observe it, acknowledge it, stay in your integrity, learn about your own integrity, be honest with yourself, identify certain parts, and then you will slowly be able to build with it, okay? Because Saturn is a very slow, it can take things away from you like this, okay? You can build and build and build and build and build, and it can take you 50 years to build. And you may think, wow, I should give up. I'm building and I don't see anything. I don't see anything working yet. I don't see anything. Maybe I should give up. But when you finally admit and you stay in your integrity, that is when the gifts of abundance will come. Because as much as Saturn likes to punish, Saturn also likes to gift. And that is why Saturn has always been chosen for the kings to pray as, whether it's a god, whether it's a kingdom, whether it's a set of rules, whether it's an alien force. Saturn has always been something that humans and people have always looked to achieve, okay? Saturn is here to teach us about ourselves, teach us about the only issue, one of the biggest issues is, though, is in a very extreme energy. It's friction, it's pushing, forcing you to get into the truth of the matter, practicality, you know, it's a very no bullshit energy. And if you stay in bullshit, meaning not getting to the truth within the integrity, then it's going to give you even more pressure. More pressure, more pressure, more pressure. Until you finally just, that's it. And depending how deep, how thorough, how much, and what you are here to do. For example, I'm born in Saturn in Sagittarian. So I have always had issues when it comes to learning and education systems. Since I was a little girl, I've always had those problems. I had problems with teachers, police officers, and this is in my ancestry as well, so it's not even just me. I would do my own research and I'd find my own things, my own truths, and when I would bring them up to the teachers, they called me up on it, they labeled me, they threw me out, they invited me again, lots and lots and lots, but it was when I stayed in my integrity where they gifted me, they awarded me, and they said, you are highly intelligent, and they allowed me to do whatever it was necessary to do, which was when I was in high school. I was legally allowed to get out of high school. They gave me a certificate. The district board, the school district board, gave me a certificate that I was officially too intelligent for an academic school. Okay? And I'm not a bearded man. I don't have glasses. I'm not your stereotypical idea of what intelligence is. Right? And what is your stereotypical intelligence? Usually Saturn brings that to the play with these laws and whatnot. So, me fighting the teachers obviously didn't work. Me rebelling against them obviously didn't work. But it was when I got into integrity, which was they invited me there. I sat down on this table at the district, and there was vice principals, vice police officers, all of them, like the head district boards, my parents, everybody in like this long table, okay, and everybody sitting on each side, and they asked me, they told me straight up, they brought me in, they told me straight up, they said, no one has ever accomplished this. What makes you think you're going to accomplish this? And I don't know what happened. And to be quite honest with you, to be quite frank with you, it was only a month earlier where I was raped. My best friend plotted a rape, okay, by an older man. And I was not sexually active or anything. I had no interest in boys, in that type of thing, I mean. And I was very, life-oriented, very responsible type of girl. And I was still able to keep my head strong and believe in myself. And it was my language, and it was my integrity. And so I can't remember what I said because it was over. It was like 13 years ago. I ended up sitting there, and I just said it all in the most honest and the most truthful manner. Everything I believed of myself, everything I've ever accomplished with it, why I believe in myself, why I feel this is correct or incorrect, showed my documents, showed this, showed that, did this, did that. My parents are freaking out. My mom's like, oh my God, what is everyone going to think of us? My dad's like, well, what did you get yourself into now? And all of a sudden when I finished, I see over 30 of them smiling, a big smile on their face, and they're all looking at each other. It was like they're judging me, eh? It's like they had those those judging when you go to those, there's like 500 people auditioning for like something, and they judge you with numbers. I swear that's what it felt like. They're all looking at each other and like, do you agree? What number would you give her, type of thing. And then all of a sudden they all nodded their head when they looked at each other, and they came to the conclusion that I'm too intelligent for school. And so they all clapped, and they wrote my name. They gave me a certificate, and the guy, one of the principals, he laughed. He says, we're giving you this certificate just in case the police officer stops you by and says, why aren't you in school? You could just show him you're too intelligent for school. Oh my God, it was too funny. And mind you though, I went through hell. I went through hell. They labeled me as ADD. They labeled me as stupid. They labeled me that I have some sort of learning disability or this or this. It was all incorrect. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, when you stay in your integrity, Saturn will change its laws for you. Okay? So this is specifically, there's a lot of people who subscribe to me who are into being a priest, a priestess, who are into religion, who are into paganism, who are into gods and goddesses, who are into magic, who are into witchcraft. And Saturn governs a lot of witchcraft and magic, okay? And so I just like to tell you, in order to, Saturn can make you a very, very powerful person, okay? But you have to be aware, and you will be given a lot of power where in one split second you're capable of creating the most powerful situations for yourself, for other people, okay? But in order to be powerful, for Saturn to bestow that power for you, upon you, and stay with you, rather than regularly having to invoke it, you have to learn about the laws, the cycles of nature, to respect them, to respect people, and to stay in your integrity, okay? You don't just go telling people to F off. You don't just go hexing people for no reason. This is the laws of nature. You need to learn to experience them over and over and over and over and over again to be able to master your own inner desires, inner will, inner strength. All of this is linked with Saturn. And the minute you realize you messed up, because no one's perfect, we're going to swear at others. We may take a voodoo doll or a hoodoo doll and start hexing other people. We may do this, we may do that. It's not easy. It never was easy. It never will be easy. But when we get into that integrity, Saturn will start working for you, okay, and gift you. So I hope this made sense. I wanted to get this out before 2015 ends, the cycle of the 8 ends, so that we proceed to 2016, the number 9, humanitarian number, the grandfather. And when I say the grandfather, it's just about accumulation of experiencing everything to, because the grandfather can really be associated with Saturn too. But, yeah, I just wanted to say that, okay, and I most likely will have a video. I feel I'm either going to do like a predictions video for the New Year and 4th, or I will be doing a cartomancy reading for everybody, okay? And I'll probably have that up by December the 30th so that you guys get it before the New Year's Eve. Okay, so if you have any ideas or opinions about if I should do one or the other, please comment and let me know. If not, I'll just go by what my higher self guides me to do. And because although I do, state that numerology is a great tool for people, and so is astrology, I live my life according to what it is that I learn. I live my life according to what it is that I've experienced. I don't follow no book. I don't follow no anything. However, when I look at astrology from time to time, like my birth chart, because I don't look at astrology every day, I don't look at that stuff. I don't look at the predictions with astrology because I believe I have the power to change my will at any time, at any course. I cannot change the unfoldment. I cannot change the bigger plan, but I can change certain, But then I also see that when I do see number frequencies and my astrological chart, it's very much aligned with what I'm experiencing. This is something I want you to be aware of. For example, it takes Saturn 28 to 29 years to come into a full cycle. I'm 28 years old. I'm going to be turning 29 in 5 months. In May, I will be 29 years old. So a full cycle has come in forth. And this is why I'm here on YouTube right now and I'm educating the public about staying in integrity. Being in integrity. Because I've had to be in integrity with the law, with my parents, with my family, with my past, with friends, with identity roles, with codependency, with everything. And it's had to again because a lot was being suppressed. And then if you look at my chart, my north node is in Aries, and that is your destiny. Okay? And that it's as well, it takes about 28 to 29 years for it to come into cycle. Look, it's very much balanced. And so what that means is my south node, which is my past life, it was in Libra. Okay, now before I even knew about what this meant, what this meant, people, is if you look at my past videos, what I've lived my life through, what I talk about, and even my YouTube channel is called Matt Red Earth Goddess. Not the name where you search me, but if you look at the link at the top where it says youtube.com / it says Maat, which was an ancient Egyptian goddess of balance, the law, the Libra scales, okay? There you go. So my past life was basically living that. So again, like I've said in my older videos, I have not come here on this earth. I have not incarnated here because I have karmic debts or I have something of that nature to fulfill. I am here because there is a legacy I'm meant to be here to leave behind for people. I'm here to be a guide for other people. I'm here to relive my past lives with the people that I lived them with in the past. Relive it over and over, the death, the pains, the suffering, the traumas, the love, the compassion, everything had to repeat itself over and over and over again. So that when the second cycle comes forth, which is Aries, the ram, leadership, initiation, strength, courage, bravery, to be able to face and go forward despite what else someone thinks about me. Forgetting about codependency and being that independence. And if people feel and resonate with me, then welcome abroad. Rather than Libra is all about, well, everything I do with someone else, and then if they don't like what I have to do, then I gotta accommodate. I gotta do what they want. No, things have changed. And so it takes it almost 28 to 29 year cycle again. So it's very much linked. See? Ram. So it's, again, it's very much linked with what I'm supposed to do here, okay? Like if you look at Babylon, if you look at Kali, if you look at those ram-headed goddesses, if you look at the high priestess, okay, they have ram heads, they have ram crowns, they have ram horns. So this is very much linked to past lives. There's a past life closing right now for a lot of us who are connected to me. This is the Egyptian past life closing for most of us because we're doing this all together, guys. Most of the ancients, we are the original children, daughters, sons of Saturn, okay? We come from kingdoms. I have ancient royal blood. And in these royal bloods, our structure was Saturn, okay? So I don't want this to keep going because I could say so much more from the temples I remember and then everything that I remember, but we're closing it, we're closing the cycle, we're continuing, we're moving forward. And again, the ram is very much associated with autumn, winter, and also the spring because March and April is associated with the ram. So it's basically a cycle that's happening from now to the spring, which I keep saying in all the readings and everything. So again, it's intuitively I'm going. And it looks like I'm living my truth. And it looks like I am doing what I'm supposed to do because the North Node in Aries, I'm actually supposed to have high opinions, I'm supposed to have high morals, and I'm supposed to talk about them. Rather in the past, when I was in the Libra, I would not say anything, I would keep my mouth shut, I would stay secretive, I would stay silent. But looks like that's not going to happen anymore. But because I also have the owl totem power animal, it's also wise to know when to speak up, when to keep quiet, and the language we use in order for our voices to be heard. Okay? So, yes, I've changed my nail polish. Yes, it matches with my Terra Mundi. No, that wasn't planned. Okay, guys, love you. See ya.